Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye, bye. Let's get straight to that intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on also. That way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support. I'm very humbled. So this is the very first inaugural episode of World's Dumbest Baboso, episode 1, right? Something new we're starting right here on the channel, where weekly we are going to go into social media and look for the world's dumbest baboso. And in this episode, Carlos Alvarez has hit the mark, right? How many DUIs does it take to get to the middle of that Tootsie Pop, right? This man right here was arrested, convicted, and is now doing 3 years in prison for his 10th, not his 8th or his 9th, but his 10th DUI, 4 in less than 10 years, right? Now, look, I had a coworker that I worked with, right? And he was actually a boss of mine. And I remember buying a brand new car, and I was proud of my new car, and I took it to work, and I wanted to show it off to all the fellas at the shop, right? And we're all out there looking at my vehicle, and I'm proud as a fuck because this was probably not the first, but I had earned that vehicle from that job, and I wanted them to see the fruits of my labor and what they had done for me by providing me this opportunity in this job, right? So as everyone's looking at my rims, listening to my little beat up stereo and my nice little new car, he kind of looks and rolls his eyes and walks away. And I asked a coworker, like, what's wrong with him, bro? He helped me, he trained me and helped me do a lot of the things I'm doing. Like, he should be proud that I was able to achieve this. He's not a hater, is he? And then I got the full rundown of the story, and I had to go ask him, why are you upset? And what I didn't realize was the whole time that I had been riding in a beat up vehicle, from beat up vehicle to beat up vehicle, stuffer to stuffer, right? And I finally got something new. He had been riding a bike for the last 15 years to work. And I asked him, bro, you make a gang of money. You're my boss. Why are you riding a bike? You can't get a car. Well, what had happened was that man had so many DUIs that he got his license revoked forever. He was bike bound. That fool was doing the ET, trying to go home, right? Elliot, no, right? He was on a bike. That Volta was fucking Tour de Francing it every day. And then I realized, man, it wasn't that he was hating on me. He was just upset with himself that he just couldn't stop getting DUIs. So, World's Dumbest Baboso is my old boss and Carlos Alvarez, a Castroville man who was caught up in an In-N-Out burger restaurant line. Now, look, I don't know about you, but you know, late night, those lines get big through the drive-through, right? So much so that sometimes you be craving a double-double animal style, right? And you look and you're like, fuck that, right? It's McDonald's is always empty. I'm headed towards McDonald's. We all know In-N-Out hits, especially late night when you've had a few beers after the bar. Man, that shit hits. But you also know jumping behind that wheel when you've had a few beers can get you caught up. Ain't nothing worse than getting caught up for a DUI, because as a community, man, the law enforcement, the community, everybody hates a DUI. They just hate it, man. They feel you're taking unnecessary actions that could cause harm to the community and all that. And I get it. I've had homeboys that got DUIs. I've never had one, but I've had a lot of friends that have. It's not to me, look, man, you should have made a better judgment call. But there are times, man, where you can get caught up on a DUI, and it's an unfortunate situation. But what's even worse than that is the fines, what you have to go through. Getting a DUI is like a $20,000 fucking ticket, straight up. It's going to cost a lot of money. You got to get the blow and go. You got to do all that shit. And, you know, you're going to be looked at a certain way in the community. People are going to be like, damn, bro, you're just a dangerous individual. You just want to fucking ride after a cutwater, right? And so, you know, oh, look at you, Mr. Buzzball. So it's all bad. Well, this guy, Carlos Alvarez, went to go get him a little bite of In-N-Out burger, right? On his 10th DUI. So he's in the line, the long ass line, decides, man, that double just, he needs that. He needs that. But somewhere in between the meantime and in between time, he fell asleep while in the drive-through line, and people started to notice this line ain't going nowhere, right? So a security guard had to approach his vehicle, noticed he was asleep in his vehicle in the middle of the drive-through line. I guess it was perfect time for a nap, right? A good nap right before the double-double hits different. And so officers were called to the scene. When they approached the vehicle, they had a strong smell of the odor was wafting out of that car, right? Of urine, vomit, and baboso, right? And they find Carlos Alvarez asleep at the wheel like this. What's that? All fucked up in his own throw up. And according to reports, the first thing he said when he got up was not, damn, I'm busted. Was not, damn, man, my 10th DUI, I'm going to lose my driving privileges. Was none of that. You want to know what his first words were? I'll take that animal style. You right? That about thought he had pulled up. Look, he was apprehended, arrested, released on bond, and now has recently been convicted and is doing 3 years in prison. So the big $1 million question is this: why now? Why did it take his 10th DUI to finally go to prison? Why does it take so long? Okay, I understand your first one, you get a slap on the wrist, you get reprimanded, you have to pay big fines, all that. The second one, they're looking at you like stupid ass. The third one is like, oh, hell nah. The fourth one is like, take this punk to jail, right? The fifth one, hey, bro, ride a bike. Here, this is a hoverboard. Hover up out of here. And I think after that, it's like, hey, they're going to keep making the same mistakes. You got to revoke their driving privileges. Enough is a fucking enough, right? But this guy got 9 other opportunities and was still riding around licensed up in his registered vehicle to himself, drunker than a skunk. You know, now he has to go sit down in a California prison system as the world's dumbest baboso, episode 1. He has to go in there and say, he never even got his in and out. That's the worst part of everything. This motherfucker never got his in and out. But if you're inebriated to the point where you're throwing up on yourself, pissing on yourself, all these different things, bro, take your ass to Burger King, right? Like, you should never be in the in and out line. I would be upset. Him holding up the line, I'm starving like Marvin. The double-double is on my mind. And it's taking double the time because I can't animal stack my shit because of this individual. And it's smelling like caca and vomit all in the line. That's going to mess my appetite up. I don't care if this dude's swerving. Swerve around so we can get through, right? So there was a lot of angry individuals, and this guy now has to sit there and tell the story to his cellie, because that's what happens. You go to prison, your cellie's like, hey, what are you in here for, bro? And you tell war stories and shit. Hey, I got a good one. Yeah, what are you in here for, bro? What are you in here for? I'm in here for murder shit, bro. You know, unfortunately, my old lady and whoop and her old man, or, you know, her side dude, and you know, a little strangulation and whatever. That's what happened. I'm not making light of it, but that's the truth. What are you in here for? You know where In-N-Out Burgers? Oh yeah, fool. Damn, you hit someone at the In-N-Out Burger? Nah, that's the thing. I didn't hit no one. I fell asleep. What? Right? And then you have to explain. And the vault's like, so you're saying out of all that, now you got me craving In-N-Out right here in the cell, and we can't get it. You didn't even get your burger? Nope. 3 years is not enough. This dude's going to get out and go right back to it. He's not going to learn his lesson. He's going to go right back to the bottle. Now, let me explain to you something. I don't hate drunk drivers, man, people that catch DUIs. There's a number of reasons you can catch a DUI. You don't even have to be off alcohol. You could be off pills. You could be off any type of substance that's considered a DUI, right? Driving under the influence. It's not drunk under the influence. It's driving under the influence. You know, I had a family member that got caught up. They were taking prescription pills that was prescribed to them, and they just got a little too woozy, got pulled over. Cop gave him a driving under the influence. He ultimately beat it, but, man, we was giving him a hard time. Like, damn, fool. You was driving like this, yeah? Off the Narans, off the Nanas, or off the Gabapittans? It just is what it is, right? I think that this dude, like, after fucking 9 of them, you haven't learned your lesson yet? How many fines and how many stupid asses do you have to get before you realize, like, enough is enough, bro? You got a problem. The problem is you get in vehicles while inebriated. Get the fuck out of the car, stupid ass, right? I'm being real. And anyways, let me tell you guys a quick story, man. And I gave my uncle shit until he ultimately passed away. So my uncle back in the days used to be an addict, right? And he liked black. And man, did he fucking like it, right? Before I was a kid, I didn't know what he was on, but I know that he used to be out there in 114, 115-degree weather wearing sweatshirts, sweating, right? On swole, but sweating like a motherfucker, like that. What happened, is it? Right? He was all tore up. As I got older, I realized, okay, he's on that. What happened was, doing that and the lifestyle he was leading, he accumulated a lot of different diseases, and it got bad for him where he just had to stop because he had no veins left, right? And so he started to drink heavily. When I say drink, I'm talking about 20, 30, 40s a day to the pass out game. He was playing the pass out game, right? He was in competition with his soul, and every mineral in his body was shaking. It was bad, right? His molecules were disrupted. He was drinking so much. He became a 40 ounce, right? He didn't even have a soul anymore. He was, damn, bro, what are you comprised of? Loose skin and St. Ides. Like, he was fucked up. And he was doing that as a buffer, as an alternative towards what he wanted to do. And ultimately, he got cirrhosis of the liver and he passed away because of it. But I remember one day I just got out of prison, right? And, I'm fresh out of prison and it's Thursday, I paroled. And by Friday, you have 24 hours to check in. I needed to check in. And I had no vehicle. I had no whip, no ride, no nothing to get there. And he's the only one I had. And so I called him. I'm like, hey, Theo, you know what I mean? Hey, can you give me a ride? You're not drinking, right? He was like, of course I'm drinking. So I was like, fuck, I still need a ride. And back then I'm ghetto as fuck, gangsters fuck. I don't care. Like, drunk drive if you want. I wasn't gamed up. I wasn't on my man shit. I was just on my whatever shit, right? Just give me the profits. I don't care if you're drunk. And so he's like, it's going to take me a minute. Let me take a piss and shit. And I got to finish this tall can. I'll be over there. So he never shows up. It's like 30 minutes. I take off running to the profits across town, right? Because this fool, obviously he passed out in his own vomit. So I'm like, damn, he probably went to In-N-Out. And so I take off running. I get there. I'm all sweaty. My professors down there are going to violate me because they think I'm on black, right? But I'm not. I'm just sweaty from fucking having to run there. I explained to him, hey, my ride didn't pick me up. And, hey, it is what it is. So I do my parole thing. And I get up out of the parole office, right? And my uncle, I guess he was on his way drinking and driving, right? And this dude's such an idiot that he pulls up to a four-way stop. There's a cop directly across from him. And this fool slams the rest of his talk in and throws it out right in front of the cop, and boop, he gets blurped. The cop hits the U-turn. He's under arrest, right? Now, I didn't know this. I never called him because I was upset. Like, man, fuck this fool. And so we got the type of family back in the days that everyone's not going to be like, hey, did you hear Theo Joe got locked up? Like, it's not going to be like that. It's just you're not going to see him for 4 years. And then when you see him, like, hey, what's up? He's going to be on swole with new tattoos on his face. Like, what happened? I just got out of Folsom. Oh, shit, I didn't even know you were there, right? I was in Tracy, right? So that's how that type of family I had. It was just no one's like, it's not a big deal. Getting locked up was normal. Like, you'll get out and my grandmother would be like, what's up, mijo? You want something to eat? Yeah, grandma, I just was in jail all night. Okay, I didn't ask you that. I said, do you want something to eat? Stupid ass, right? That's the type of family I had. Like, jail is part of the game. So anyways, I end up catching a violation, and a year flat violation. I'm in Tracy, right? I'm waiting to go to my main line. So as soon as I'm there, my uncle had a big Virgin Mary tattooed on his back. He had Norte across his lower back. He was from, he represented Turlock, right? And so I walk over to the northern area because that's my area at the time, right? And as I walk over, I see him. He's doing pull-ups. I'm like, what the fuck? Right? So I go slap him on his butt. I'm giving him the slap at. And my Theo jumps off in a defensive stance, ready to get off where he's mad at. And he sees me. He's like, what's up? Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? He says, it's your stupid ass fault. And I said, how's it my fault? He said, fool, I was having a good time in my backyard sipping. I said, okay, that's not my fault. He said, no, but then you called me to come pick you up, and I did, and I got to do you because of it. If you never would have called me, I would have been out. I said, man, if you don't stop, if you never were drinking and driving, you would be out, right? He said, no, I do that all the time. I just never get caught. So anyways, I ended up running into him. One of the worst times and experiences in my life in prison happened a couple of days later on that yard, but it just was what it was, right? The thing is, the moral to the story is everyone gets caught up on those DUIs. That was like his second one. They sent his ass to prison. I guess because he had an extensive record, they were just like, do not pass go. Just take your ass to prison, right? That fool was in there fucking still getting high. He just was doing his thing. But this dude, the dumbest baboso, Carlos Alvarez, like, how lucky can you get? It takes 10 DUIs before you get 3 years in prison. And even then, only 3 years. What would have happened if he was trying to eat that burger leaning sideways and hurt somebody? Like, come on, man. You have to really clear your mind. Do something different. You know, like I said, I've had friends. I got friends, current friends, man, that have had DUIs. I don't judge anyone. Shit happens. You can get caught up for anything, right? Um, but fuck, bro, 10 of them. And I remember, like I said, my boss, he used to ride the bike, and you know, I used to give him shit about it. You know, he'd be riding the bike, I'd be driving right next to him. He'd be pedaling fast as fuck. I'd be passing him, and then I'd wait till we almost got to his pad, and then I'd pull over like, "Hey, you need a ride, eh?" And I'm a cold-blooded motherfucker. He was like, "I'm gonna fucking fire you." I said, "Hey, it's all right. Shit, fire up." So I remember we ended up beefing, man, over that. Like one time it was snowing and raining where I was working at, and it was bad weather. I live in the Pacific Northwest in Washington. It was just bad, right? It was icy, slushy that day. And I'm not gonna lie, I was throwing snowballs at him on his bike and all kinds of shit. And I guess you're not supposed to do that to your boss, but no one read me that fucking rule, right? And yeah, he used to give tamales out to everyone in December. His old lady, she was a paisita. She used to get down, make some bomb tamales. He'd sell them like $50 a dozen. Fucking dude trying to get us, right? But they were bomb. And he used to give us all a dozen off the top and then buy whatever you want. I usually get 4 dozen a year for the family for Christmas, right? Because they were so good. But he didn't give me my dozen off the top. I hit him up on it too. Like, where's my dozen? That motherfucker went and grabbed the snowball outside and put it right there and said, there's your dozen, bitch. Hey, it's not my fault that Vato like fucking Parmesan. Stop drinking and driving, Mata. Anyways, with that being said, we're episode 1, World's Dumbest Baboso Man. A Northern California man from Castroville gets caught. Now they're saying he's from Salinas. I've seen all these different where he's from. It doesn't matter where he's from. It matters where he's at. He's in the California prison system behind falling asleep in an In-N-Out burger drive-through. Imagine how pissed you would have been. Imagine how pissed you would have been. You're starving like Marvin. You just came from a club. You got a bad chick with you, man. Hey, your whole get down is I'm going to get some In-N-Out. Then I'm going to go to her house and get some In-N-Out, if you understand what I'm saying. And I'm going to animal stack it. You know, we're going to everything. We're going to grill her onion and everything's going to be good. And you're in line waiting for an hour and a half because this dude's throwing up on himself. Fucking good. Hey, they always ruin shit, huh? I'm about to talk about, I'm not drunk. You know, I'm telling you, the cop said in the report, I read it. The first thing he said was, animal stack it. They did. They stacked 3 years on his ass. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people. Look, I don't wish incarceration upon anyone, but go sit your ass down. I bet you Alvarez going to be in there like, who got the white lightning and the hamburgers? We're having hamburgers tonight? I'm getting flashbacks. Animal stack it. Who got the white lightning? Come on, bro. You got a problem. The problem is you're the world's dumbest baboso. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock area, pull up to the Barrio Liquors and get you something icy and cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you're in the Tucson area and you need a rough or cool estimate on some yard service, make sure that you tap in and Google Sticks and Stones Yard Service. We need to support our small local raza businesses. There's also someone who reached out to me. I believe he's from Las Cruces, New Mexico, Atomic LLC. We need to get to the bottom of that because I want to promote your small business, man. So reach out to me. This is the gun. Bang, bang. If you like World's Dumbest Baboso, episode 1, tap in with me. We'll get 2 going on. Hit a 1 in the chat. Bang, bang.